Before this video starts, I need to give major spoiler warnings for Red Dead Redemption 2. In this video, I'll be breaking down the story and exploring what the game means not just to me personally, but also to the video game industry as a whole. We'll be discussing the entire plot and its impact, so if you haven't played it yet, consider this your final warning. Spoilers ahead. Now that we've covered that, let's dive in. Red Dead Redemption 2 is widely regarded as one of the greatest video games ever made. Rockstar Games outdid themselves by creating one of the most breathtaking and detailed open worlds in gaming history. In my view, this game didn't just raise the bar for what video games could be, it fundamentally changed the industry forever. Rockstar has always been a leader in innovation and pushing boundaries, but with RDR2, they went above and beyond. They redefined storytelling, immersion, and emotional depth, setting a new benchmark for the entire medium. Plenty of games before RDR2 had character arcs, usually focused on the main character and a handful of supporting roles. But RDR2 took this idea and expanded it. Every single character you meet feels like they have purpose and contributes meaningfully to the story. Arthur Morgan, the protagonist, stands out as one of the most compelling characters ever written for a video game. His transformation from a hardened outlaw to a man facing his own mortality with a desire to set things right grounds the emotional core of the narrative. Arthur's journey offers 4 potential endings, each packed with emotion, though I think only one truly feels like the quote-unquote right conclusion. Roger Clark's performance as Arthur is incredible, adding depth and realism to the character. Through Clark's acting, we see Arthur wrestle with his past choices, grapple with his impending death from tuberculosis, and strive to make amends in his final days. His death at the end is both tragic but beautiful, symbolizing acceptance and redemption. Arthur's awareness that his time is running out, paired with the disintegration of his gang, pushes him to spend his last moments trying to do good. One of the most impressive aspects of RDR2 is its honor system, which tracks the player's decisions and actions. Helping strangers and showing kindness raises Arthur's honor, while committing crimes or acting selfishly lowers it. While similar systems appear in games like Fallout New Vegas and Mass Effect, RDR2 takes it to another level. It's not just a morality tracker, it's a tool that shapes how Arthur sees himself and how others perceive him. This creates a deeply personal and interactive experience, where the story feels tailored to the player's choices. It's a brilliant feature that strengthens the emotional bond between the player and Arthur, making his journey even more impactful. I also want to highlight one of my favorite aspects of RDR2, its cinematic style. The game doesn't just play like a traditional video game, it feels like an interactive movie. This cinematic approach is one of the reasons the game stands out. It uses visuals, acting, and camera angles to tell the story in ways few games have before. While other narrative-driven games like A Way Out come close, RDR2 takes the concept to a whole new level. A standout visual feature is the use of dynamic aspect ratio that shifts between cutscenes and gameplay. These seamless transitions make the experience feel more like a living, breathing film than a video game. Rockstar's attention to detail in shot composition, lighting, and scenery helps create stunning visuals that immerse players completely, whether it's a horseback ride at sunset, a shootout under the stars, or sweeping views of rugged landscapes. The game feels alive in every frame. For me, the only other game in 2018 that came close to matching this level of cinematic quality was God of War. Christopher Judge's portrayal of Kratos was phenomenal, and its visual storytelling complemented its gameplay perfectly. Both games proved that video games could rival movies in terms of emotional depth and presentation. Since then, other titles like Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us series have followed this formula, showing that RDR2 helped establish cinematic storytelling as a major trend in modern gaming. Although cinematic games existed before RDR2, RDR2 set a new gold standard. It proved that video games could deliver stories as powerful and emotionally moving as those found in films or books. It inspired other developers to create richer narratives and immersive worlds. Games like Ghost of Tsushima have since pushed this idea further, but RDR2 remains the standout title that paved the way. Its legacy is clear in how modern games emphasize storytelling and player choice, drawing players deeper into their worlds. What makes RDR2 unforgettable isn't just its story, it's the combination of story, characters, and world building. For many players, moments like Arthur's diagnosis, the death of Lenny, and the gang's collapse leave lasting impressions. Personally, This game feels like a cinematic adventure I can revisit again and again, even though nothing will ever quite match the emotions of playing it for the first time. I'll never forget how much RDR2 affected me. It was the first Rockstar game I played on launch day, and at the time I hadn't finished the original Red Dead Redemption. That decision led to one of the most emotional gaming experiences of my life. Arthur's death hit me hard. It was the first time a video game had ever made me actually cry. Arthur's diagnosis of tuberculosis completely blindsided me. Without having played the first game, I didn't know that Arthur's absence was even in question. I had assumed that he was also in the first game. At first, however, I doubted Rockstar would kill off the protagonist in such a tragic way. But as the gang unraveled and betrayal tore them apart, the ending became clear to me. Watching Arthur's gradual decline mirrored the downfall of the gang, making this story even more emotional and memorable. The showdown with Agent Milton, where he reveals Micah's betrayal, was a gut punch. At that point, I knew either Micah or Arthur would die in that final mission. When Dutch sided with Micah and left Arthur behind, it shattered my expectations. I thought Dutch might turn on Micah at the last moment, but instead his dependence on Micah's manipulations sealed Arthur's fate. It was painful, but made sense within the story. Dutch's arc is one of the more important parts of the story. If he had killed Micah, it would have gone against everything his character had become. Instead, his decision to walk away highlights his moral downfall and perfectly sets up the events of Red Dead Redemption. In the end, RDR2 changed how I see video games. It showed me that games can be just as emotionally impactful as movies or books, proving that this medium is capable of delivering stories that resonate long after the credits roll. To wrap this up, Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a video game. It's an experience that redefined what the medium can achieve. It's a masterpiece that raised the bar for storytelling, gameplay, and immersion, leaving a permanent mark on the industry. It's a game I'll treasure forever, even though nothing will ever quite feel like that first journey through Arthur Morgan's unforgettable story.